I feel like when Kayla came into Republic and was asking me questions, like I was pleading the fifth, and I was just like, I think you should, protect your heart, and like, but I totally get where you're at, da 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 da.
Got some good news this morning about the GLAAD Media Awards in Southern Hospitality. How do you feel about being nominated?
Yes, it's so exciting. I feel like the LGBTQ community is a big part of Republic. And with the Pride episode just coming out, it was such an honor to be recognized.
Yeah. And in your first season too, I mean, what does that feel like to have, eyes on you? You're part of the Bravo universe now.
Yes, it's so unique, but it's been such a crazy, fun experience. Even filming, it was so much fun. Yeah.
I was talking to Joe the other day, and he was saying that they just kind of threw you in the deep end where they gave you some mic packs and were like, here, go for it. Was that your experience as well?
Yes, 100%. It was all really fast too. And it feels like, it was just our normal lives at work at Republic and outside of work. So it was fun. It was a summer to like, I'll never forget,
Yeah, absolutely. And did it feel surreal when the cameras were kind of in your face, or did you forget about that pretty quick?
I definitely it was very quick for me to forget that they were there, especially the things that we were doing was so like on brand for us, or things we would be doing in our normal life. So it was super easy for me to forget. But I don't know, like for everyone else,
Yeah. Well, and now you get to obviously watch it all back. How has that been? Have you gotten any kind of different insights, seeing things and what people were saying when you weren't there?
Yes, there was, you film a lot, and I feel like, it's so surprising to see, what they put in, or, how it comes off or portrayed, but it's definitely been interesting. I feel like watching the episodes and being like, okay, do you know what I mean? Like how it portrayed versus like how it went down, and watching that play out on TV. It's just been a super interesting experience. Yeah, I feel more prepared too, like for future seasons, and things that were said that I shouldn't have said, or you know what I mean. But it is what it is. I was 100% myself, living my truth. So proud of that.
Well, is there anything that, like, it seems like there's something maybe coming to mind whenever you're thinking of things you regret saying, or things that you wish had come out differently a little bit?
Yeah. I feel like the past couple episodes been hard because I obviously got involved with drama and, got in the mix and everything like that. But it was just, interesting how everything played out and everything. And I think that people will see, especially in the finale, like more of what's going on kind of behind the scenes with everyone else. So I'm really excited for the finale. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's get into like the Griffin in general, because that was wild.
Yeah, I will never be going back there again. I'm like, oh my God, how we like all went off at that bar is just a long day. Like,
yeah, what was going through your mind as things are starting to like really pop off there?
I mean, I feel like there was a lot going down, but I feel like for me, I was put in a really hard position because at home, my roommate and my best friend was really hurt about the situation that went down. And I feel like they were sitting there talking about it, and she didn't have a voice, which was super, unfair. And I felt like I would do anything for her, especially seeing, how hurt she was by the situation. It was really hard, not to have an opinion about it or voice, especially because it was always coming into work and all the drama was going on at work. I was just kind of like fed up with it. And I was really upset too that, like, even stuff about my relationship, or Will's relationship, was thrown in our face when we all knew that this kind of happened, so it's just kind of but it is what it is. I feel like, I wanted to put the past in the past, you know what I mean? But I feel like their present wasn't being like displayed. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, there were things that you'd already dealt with, like the whole peanut butter thing that was already in the past. How did you feel now that that's out there for everyone and now that it was brought
Yeah.
up for everyone?
I feel like my biggest thing with that is, you know, I trust, like, I really did. The people at Republic are like my really close friends. We hang out all the time. We party all the time. And we also get like vulnerable with each other. You know, if I'm having a meltdown, like they come to me or I come to them, and we have those relationships with each other. So I feel like, you know, like I vulnerably, you know, told a lot of those other cast members or people things about my life or my past or my boyfriend's past or, you know, even Emmy's past, where, you know, I didn't expect them to like throw that in my face. You know, I thought that we all knew that this happened and this is what it was. And I thought we were moving on, and it just sucks that we can't, you know, and I feel like I got a lot of about my relationship and the relationship I got into. And I feel like, you know, I've kind of learned, if anything, like I got to stop like sharing things about my relationship to them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you and Trevor really did get like a lot of heat, I feel like, in the confessionals. What was it like watching the season back and being like, oh, this is how you guys really feel?
No, I knew that. I mean, I feel like that was the hardest part about filming was just, you know, constantly hearing about Trevor, our relationship, and like people just weren't very supportive, you know? And I was luckily to have some friends that were really supportive, but just to hear all the backlash from everyone all the time, especially people I considered my friends, was really hard. But I also knew this, like it was my real life. Like people were not happy that we got back together, but it was my decision and I like needed to see that through, you know?
Mm-hmm. And obviously, like Joe was feeling some type of way about it. Did you really know how deeply he was like pining for you throughout this season?
Yeah, Joe and I have always been really good friends and we work together. We're like work husband and wife, but I think that I always had an idea, but I always just like never really took it that seriously until, you know, we were filming. You know what I mean? And then I kind of realized how much he did kind of care about me and like see a future. I mean, my only thing is I wish he was a little bit more supportive in my relationship now, like that he, you know, just let me do my thing. Cause I feel like it was really hard because he came out super persistent, like when I was already, you know, dating and seeing Trevor. So it was just very interesting because I'm like, this is my boyfriend and it's a little disrespectful. And he kind of made it really hard on my relationship. Especially watching the show now and seeing all the shit he's talked about and like all the things that he said about kind of my relationship. I feel like it's made it a little hard on our friendship, you know?
Yeah. I mean, would you still consider yourself really close with him, or is it kind of gone separate ways since then?
Yeah, I do, but I just think it's a little different. Like, you know, we go to work, that relationship hasn't changed. You know, we go to work, we're still best friends at work. We have a great time together. Like, but just like being in my relationship, he's made it really, really hard on my relationship. So I feel like that's where I've had to set maybe boundaries, you know, where I'm not really hanging out with him outside of work anymore. And, you know, because I'm not trying to disrespect, you know, my relationship, especially the amount of, you know, he's talked about it or about Trevor. So that's where I feel like our relationship has maybe had a little bit more boundaries now. But other than that, like I have so much fun with Joe. Like we are really close. I like see him every single weekend. You know, we'll go out, we'll be at the same bars. And like, I think we have a lot of love for each other. It's just, you know, he's unhappy with my relationship and he's made it really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and we see in the preview for next week's finale that things get like pretty intense between you guys there. Can you tease a little bit about what's going down there for us?
Yeah, I can't say too much. I'm really excited for you guys to see it, but I feel like like Joe kind of shows his true colors. You know, I feel like he gets everything off his chest about how he feels either about me, about Mia, about Trevor. So I feel like it's a big episode for Joe and figuring that out. And I'm excited for you guys to see it. I feel like I definitely get emotional because it was just really, really hard, like on Joe, on me, and on my relationship, and I feel like I got really torn, like, like, what do I do? This is my best friend. This is my boyfriend. I don't want to be in the middle of this. But at the same time, like, I'm going to defend my relationship, like this is the person I see, a future with and things like that. So I also think I get really emotional with Joe because I didn't know he had these feelings or how he felt really,
Do you think that if he had like come forward and told you about these feelings earlier when you were still single, that would have made a difference? Or do you just think that that's not the direction that your relationship's meant to be in?
I think that I don't know, it didn't happen. So I can't really tell you. But I mean, I was, single, for some time. So I feel like maybe Joe thought we were moving in that direction, but I just, I really didn't think it was moving in that direction,
Yeah. Well, and then we've got the whole like Bradley Kayla drama that's going down too. Do you have any regrets about telling Kayla what you told her, or do you still think that like you were totally in the right letting her know?
I will own, like, I shouldn't be getting involved or in the middle of other people's relationships. Like, I feel like a lot of people got involved with mine, but I feel like, I can own that I shouldn't have, gotten involved. But the thing is I feel like this wasn't like super clear, but, working at Republic, people come in to Republic all the time, like asking questions or, searching for things. They know that we're there, like that we're there Thursday through Sunday. So I feel like that was not my first time where someone's come up to me at Republic and been like, hey, have you seen my boyfriend? Do you know what I mean? And I feel like saying protect your heart was like a super like easy, like cop out for me. So I feel like when Kayla came into Republic and was asking me questions, like I was pleading the fifth, and I was just like, I think you should, protect your heart and like, but I totally get where you're at, da, 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 da. And I think it's just funny because, I feel like I got a lot of heat for that, where, she came up to me and found me at Republic, and, her and I have been friends for a while. So it was just like, a normal conversation for her to come up to me and say hi. And I feel like she wanted to start talking to me about that. But honestly, I told her, if, she's also really good friends with Sierra, who also dated Brad. So I feel like she, instead of really diving into it with me, decided to talk to Sierra, and they got lunch and stuff like that. So that was, all I said about the situation. So for Brad to get so angry about that, I was like, but I can own that, like, I'm no longer going to get involved with other people's relationships,
Yeah, even if they're seeking it out, it feels like it's too much. Or
yes, like even at work, I gotta be like, oh, I gotta go, like da 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 da. But it's just hard because she came up to me at work and we're friends. So I feel like I said something that was super, protect your heart, but like I gotta get back to work, like da 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 da. So for it to blow up to be this like super big thing, I was kind of confused. Like, hey, I thought if anything, I was having your back. Like I saw you in the alleyway with another girl, and, I didn't tell her that or say that. So, but like I said, I will own that, like I'm staying out of that.
yeah, I mean, this kind of goes in line with, I'm wondering if you have any big regrets from this season or anything that like in season 2 moving forward you would want to do differently. It sounds like staying out of other people's relationships. Is there anything else?
I honestly, I'm probably going to go into, future seasons the same way of like, this is just, the cameras aren't around. Like I'm just living my real life, and da, 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 and things come up just naturally, like drama. It's a revolving door at Republic. So I feel like that part will be easy. I feel like I don't really regret anything, but I will, like I said, own that, or maybe in the future, just stay out of other people's relationships, and maybe not talk as much about mine to these people I once trusted, So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and kind of moving forward into a second season, would there be anything that you wanted people at home to see a little bit differently about you or see more of you in one light?
Yes. Yes. I think that there was a lot of fun things that we did that like wasn't, necessarily shown. I think that I would love to see more with my DJing. I make music a lot too. So I'm learning a lot about producing and things like that. And I would love for people to get more of an idea of what we do, outside of Republic and of course inside Republic. But yeah, just like the really fun, like quirky side of all of us, because we are all really close and really good friends. So yeah, I'm excited for that in the future,
Yeah, awesome. Well, I am super excited. I mean, I hope there's a million more seasons to come. It's been a blast so far, and I am looking forward to the finale next week.
Yes, I'm so excited. Everyone tune in. There's a lot that goes down, and I feel like everything gets kind of cleared up, and I'm excited.